Take one. Going into Michigan's offense, going into 2024, what is it going to be like? Let me know down in the comments below. I say take one because normally I have a horrible intro going into these videos. And I think this one's not so shabby. So take one here. Once I do the intro, once I get through this portion of the video, it goes smoothly. So keep watching, continue to watch. And for all of the 250 subscribers out there, 256, I believe, thank you. And thank you for all of the 425 returning viewers. I imagine that most of you are not subscribed. Obviously, we only have 256 subscribers. 426 of you are returning all the time. Let's get that number up. Thank you everyone that has liked the video, share, subscribe, comment down below after this video. We are talking Michigan's offense going into 2024. Michigan did not have the best offense last year, statistically, but still won the national championship. It was defense that won for Michigan, and Michigan will be able to run the ball and play off, get it? There's a pun there, play off of that once again this year. I believe it. I really do. If Orji is the quarterback, he could be a Jalen Milroe type from Alabama last year, but better because he has a core of running backs behind him coming back. And a great defense. That's not to be questioned. I did a video on the defense already going into 2024, and you can go ahead and look at that in the cards. I will put it up there for all of you. This is going to be a longer video. I'm going to talk about strategy. I'm going to talk about players, and we're going to dissect this offense in this video. Michigan has great tight ends and great wide receivers, always ready to block for the runners or catch the ball if needed. The schedule is tough, but I expect 11-1 for this team. That's my prediction here early on. I think we beat Ohio State. The one team I think we lose to is Oregon this early. But at minimum, Michigan will go 9-3 for this upcoming season, which still could get into a playoff for our Wolverines. I feel like Michigan is going fully back in time in this upcoming season, and I think they probably should. Run the ball, and defense is about to become a point-a-minute team again if run properly. If you can run, then passing is easier for your team. Just beat the expletive out of people, meaning be more physical. Michigan may lose 20 players to the NFL this season like Harbaugh predicted. They might. I think it'll be less than that, maybe 17. But we're going to lose a lot. But look at what is back. Let's look at what is coming back here for this program. Here we go. In 2023, last season, this offense had 383 yards per game and had 36 points per game over 15 games where they went 15-0 with those numbers. 214 passing yards per game. JJ was great and a great talent and a great manager of this program. 169 rushing yards per game. Yes, that was good enough. It wasn't great, but it was good enough with this defense. To start this video, we will have to talk about quarterbacks because I will lose half of you if I do not right here, right off the bat. Half of you viewers will leave if I do not talk about quarterbacks. So here we go. Alex Orji looks to be the guy. He's a junior. He went 1 for 1 last season, which is 100%, for 5 yards. Oh, no, that was in 2022, excuse me. He had no passes last season. But last season, he did have 15 runs for the University of Michigan for 86 yards, which is a 5.7 clip. And he had 1 touchdown. Jaden Denegal is probably your second guy right now. He's a junior as well. He went 4 of 5 last season, 80%. And he had 50 yards passing and a touchdown. Davis Warren went 0 for 5 and had an interception. His stock is way down. And then Jaden Davis had no stats. He was a freshman last season. He will be a sophomore. And freshmen that will be are never mentioned in my depth chart videos because this is a meritocracy. You have to prove yourself here at the University of Michigan before you get mentioned, no matter how good you are, except a couple running backs here coming up are going to be mentioned. Listen, at the running back room, Michigan is loaded. And Corum should have won the Heisman last year. He lost to some quarterback. I don't know. I can't remember. The LSU guy who went 9-3. Corum was the guy. He should have won the Heisman. He's amazing. But Donovan Edwards is back. Kalel Mullings is back. Both are seniors. Who gets the most reps? I think Kalel Mullings is the true running back for this team. I think he gets the most carries out of these two. I'm sorry. Donovan Edwards is awesome. 119 carries last year for 497 yards. That's a 4.2 average. He had 5 rushing touchdowns all late in the season. And thank you to Donovan Edwards for doing that. And he had 249 receiving yards out of the backfield. So if it's him, I wouldn't be surprised, but I like Kalel Mullings. He had 36 carries last season for 222 yards. That's a 6.2 average, and he had a touchdown out of his 36 carries. He is a beast. He runs upright a little too much for me. He needs to hold on to the ball a little more and get lower. But I think he's going to be unstoppable behind this makeshift offensive line that we have coming up. But at tight end, Colston Loveland's your guy. He's a junior. 45 catches for 649 yards, 14.4 average, and 4 touchdowns. And then you have Max Bredesen, who's kind of your Swiss Army knife for next season. He can play tight end, he can play fullback, he can play lineman, wherever you need him to be in this run onslaught that I think this offense should do next season. He can plug right in, but he's not part of the starters here. So I think Orgy's your starter. I think Kalel Mullings your starter, and I think Donovan Edwards is a starter as well. Throw him in there. You get 11 people on offense. So keep him in there as well. Colston Loveland is your 4th starter. Samaj Morgan has to be the guy. He was a freshman last season. Going into his sophomore season, he had 22 catches for 204 yards last season, 9.3 average, and he had 2 touchdowns. And he had 4 runs for 67 yards and a 16.8 average. That is what that is. And he had 2 touchdowns. Tyler Morris as well is going to be a junior. 13 catches last year as a sophomore, 197 yards, and a 15.2 average per catch, and 1 touchdown. So we're not going to rely on wide receivers, like I said, going into this season. But these 2 are perfect for what we're about to do. And Colston Loveland and Max Bredesen. We will see. We'll talk about backups here coming up later in the video. I said it's going to be a long video, so take a breath and get a drink and let's go. Let's talk about starting offensive line. Basically, the offensive line has depth, but they are in dire need of guards. Unless those who stayed step up. The freshmen, sophomores from last year. But everyone I'm about to list is seniors here on this offensive line. You got to go Jeff Percy at left tackle, right? Because that allows Miles Hinton to be left guard. Jeff Percy is a senior, 6 foot, 320 pounds. Miles Hinton's a senior, 6'6", 340. He's the inside guy if we're going to just run over people. Greg Crippen is the center. He's a senior, 6'4", 309. And Raheem Anderson, ideally, is the backup center. But he is the guy most ready to go right now at this moment. And I fully appreciate what Sherrone Moore has done with these offensive lines. He'll know what to do. He just promoted Grant Newsome to the offensive line coach position. So we got offensive linemen in the room as coaches. They'll figure this out. I do not expect these guys to be the stars, but they're the 5 best right now, in my opinion. Raheem Anderson's there. He's a senior. 6'3", 316. And then right tackle, Gio Al-Hadi is a senior, 6'5", 318. And we also have Prevey, an offensive lineman transfer in from Northwestern, who was a starter there. So where will he fit in the depth? And we'll talk about depth, like I said, coming up right now. And because it's offensive line, Dominic Gaitis is a senior as well. He's been waiting his turn. 6'4", 305. Tristan Bounds is a senior, 6'8", 305. Andrew Gentry is backing up as a junior coming up this season, 6'7", 327. And Connor Jones, junior, 6'6", 320 for this Michigan program. What do you think about this offensive line and what it's going to be? Last year, some of us thought we can just do hockey lines with this offensive line, but it's a different sport. But maybe with the running back core and the running quarterback, who knows? Who knows how many of these people will play? They will have to figure out the starters. We will have to be able to pass the ball, of course, as an offense. And speaking of which, J.J. McCarthy got 3, 4, 5 games versus weak opponents early to practice his passing attack. Orgy's not going to have that chance, or whoever the quarterback is not going to have that opportunity. Texas early, and then right into the Big Ten schedule, which just got a lot harder. So, but I think our best chance as a offensive unit is to just beat the shit out of people. Play action and screen and do whatever you have to do off of that with Alex Orgy as quarterback. Or you got to go get a really great passer and change everything about the program. I'm torn. People are saying 8-4, 9-3 for Michigan. I don't see it. We're going to do the same things we did last year. J.J. McCarthy was not this all-world player. And my only hope is Orgy is more like J.J. because he is better than, say, Joe Milton. So that's, as a Michigan fan, that's just all I'm hoping for. The offensive line is going to be amazing yet again. Challenge for their 4th Joe Moore Award. They didn't get it last year, but they beat the team that did in the national championship. So, running back backups. Let's talk about those. Tavier Dunlap is going to be a senior, 6 foot 229. Cole Cabana and Benjamin Hall are coming back as sophomores. 6 foot 198 for Cole Cabana. 5'11", 234 for Benjamin Hall. I can't wait to see this young man. And then, of course, I said I wouldn't talk about freshmen, but you got to just, the room is so deep. Micah Capana and Jordan Marshall, people are talking about them. So they're going to be freshmen for Michigan next season. The running back room is loaded. At tight end, Marlon Klein backs up, a junior, 6'6", 250. And Deacon Tonelli is what I have as a sophomore, 6'5", 251. So there you have it. The offense is going to be just amazing. Depends on what the philosophy is of Sherrod Moore. And we're still waiting on the offensive coordinator. The hires we know here so far for Michigan are Abigail O'Connor was retained as Director of Performance and Nutrition. Justin Tress was elevated after Ben Herbert hightailed it to the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh. But he had been with Ben Herbert for 11 years, I believe. And he now is the Director of Strength and Conditioning for the University of Michigan. Grant Newsome, like I said, has been elevated to offensive line coach. He was tight ends coach last season. DC and OC still need to be decided for this program, but the players are there. The defense, go watch that video. I'm telling you that it's going to be the best defense in the nation again. And if this offense can replicate what they did last year, at the very least, they will win again, even with the schedule being tougher for the University of Michigan. So there you go. What do you think? Am I out of my mind? Am I being too homerish? Am I not considering what Ohio State has done in their offseason so far? They have addressed some issues, I'm not going to lie. And we will talk about the team down south here coming up in videos. But I'm a homer. I got to start with Michigan here first. And hockey and other sports are going on here for the University of Michigan, so I'll get to the topics that need to be addressed as they come along, and that's what we do here at the Dependent Fanatic channel. Thank you for watching. Share, subscribe, and like, and comment, and go blue, everybody.